I'll try and be speedy, might not. Sorry for the jumpy. God, I can't think of the word. Had to bring Thor's hammer into play. Ta-da! Hi, welcome to installment part 5, I think it is, of my journey. I felt the need to do a quick intro to this video for a couple of reasons. Number one, when I was putting together the edit, I realized that actually if you don't know what I'm doing, it's going to be very difficult to follow. So I just want anybody who's joining me for the first time, in short, I'm making a table to go by the armchair for my wife for our 41st wedding anniversary. I'm using scrap wood that I have around the workshop. So basically I'm taking these pieces of crappy construction lumber and turning them into an increasingly, I must admit, nice side table. I've decided on a fan theme, so I cut that wood into slats, and I've been playing around with how many slats and how to separate them. And I really would invite you, and I'd be pleased as punch if you go back into my description and see parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're a bit wordy, a bit long, but honestly, I think they're fun, and they get better as I'm doing this, because one of the things I'm learning along the way is actually how to make a video diary. Anyway, to the point, and this is where I'm at the moment. This is a mock-up, but it's coming out nicely. In this episode, I'm going to be using some of the tools that I have to make templates to help me make the final top and the final base. I'm actually going to cut this down to the bare bones. On the one hand, there's not an awful lot to show. There are a couple of interesting things that I think you'll enjoy seeing, but what's coming in the next couple of episodes, quite honestly, is epic. I cannot believe what I've done. I've been experimenting with some stuff and it is, I believe, absolutely awesome. So I want to get to that as quickly as I can, and I don't want to bore you with things that are boring, which are not boring, but anyway, as I said, I talk too much. I'm sorry for that. I really am fighting, but I can't help it. I get excited and get enthusiastic and then it all goes to crap. Anyway, into episode 5, prototyping for the base and the top. I want to make a mock-up of the base and the top even before I'm ready for it. Ultimately, I want, as I think I mentioned, I want to use my CNC to cut out the base and the top. To do that, I'm going to make a template. I want to make some sample templates. I want to get some one-to-one, I can't think of the word, mock-ups. I want some one-to-one mock-ups. And I haven't really got anything that I can put on my CNC to do that that's not going to be a waste of material. One of the great things about my CNC is that in this box there's another toy. It's a laser. So I'm going to swap out the spindle for the laser unit, and then using the laser cut out in cardboard some one-to-one pieces just to see what the sizes are, what the proportions are, and so on. So this isn't a powerful laser. It's in fact on the scale of laser power, it's a bit of a joke. Probably for home usage, a good sensible laser, if you really want to cut through something more than just a millimeter thick, so let's say 6mm plywood or something like that, you'd need a laser in the region of 20 to 40, maybe even 60 watts. This is 5.5 watts. But you know what, for me it's good enough. I've done so many great things with it. Well, if things have gone according to plan, let's take this bit of paper just for fun and games. Okay, that's brilliant. Let me just do something probably highly dangerous and highly stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to turn the laser on. Oh, turn that off. So if you had any question if lasers are dangerous, Can you see that? 5.5 watts only, air quotes, and it's burnt through this paper and instantaneously. It burns through instantaneously. Which I checked, and it was less than 5 minutes to switch over from the milling machine to the laser machine and have it as a functioning laser. So I've set up the cut parameters, which is basically the power, what power level do I want in the laser and what speed for it to travel around. I did a quick test circle so that the settings that I've put in should work. This should now make a semicircle shape. And then go along that edge, thank you very much. And then it will go up and back to where it started. Excellent. Let's send it back to the homing position and we'll start at the beginning. Honestly, I have no idea why it started on the right. Not that it makes any difference. The smell of burnt paper right now is pretty atrocious. That is the one downside of this. You really should have fume exhaust system, which I don't have. You might be thinking, watching this, that oh my god, that's so slow. It's not. If I had a more powerful laser, it could be quicker, but this is quick enough. I mean, actually, how long is this taking? The estimated time for that to cut out was 2 minutes for the whole semicircle, and it's just as precise as you can get it. I could never cut something out by hand as precise as this is going to be. I hope. Can you hear that sound? I love it. I love the noise it makes as it goes around. R2D2, CP3O, C3PO. One semicircle. So I took my cardboard semicircle template, put it onto a piece of board, traced around it, and that's what I've ended up with. The size of, well, that's the problem, the size of what? If I put my glasses, iPhone and tea glass on there, it's huge, and it's much too much for a top, because to make it stable the base would have to be this kind of size, and it's just like I'm pricing myself out of the market or sizing myself out of the market. So then I went back to the drawing board and to my original instinct, and I started with at the base. So I made a an oval base, made 2 of them, glued them together, and that would be about the size of the footprint that I want for the base. Took a reasonably sized circle, again a semicircle, 2 of them, putting them together, and the aesthetics I like of it, but it's clearly too small. I mean, it's just too small. Even if I was just having 2 items, that's not going to work. So I went back to the very first idea that I started rejecting, which is to have both an oval foot and an oval top. And actually, I like it again. And not just because it's practical. It does have, indeed, it has more real estate, and certainly enough. The proportions of the base to the top are good. The size of the top is good. So no, this I think is the route I'm going to take. What I've done now is I cut a hole in the cardboard template, and actually I've put the wooden leg in there. And this is kind of what it's looking like at the moment. I'm loving the fan. I think the fan with the dowels looks classy. But we've already established I've got good taste. I think the size of the base is good. Maybe it could be a tiny bit smaller, but we're not going to worry about that. I'm more worried about the size of the top. I think the top needs to be, and could be, a little bit bigger. I want to have it offset so that it's not, the leg is coming up at the back end, rather like at the base. Everything's a little bit, I don't know, like cantilevered. Perhaps that's a good word for it. But it's not looking like a turd. So this is the great thing about having the means to prototype quickly and efficiently. You can experiment. I made a second top. I added 10 millimeters to the width and proportionally, and it's definitely a good move. But also, while I was at it, I was looking at it, I thought, hang on a minute, I'm thinking about having it asymmetry in the base and the top, and I'm not so sure, maybe symmetry will work. So I cut another hole, exactly, to all intents and purposes central to the base, and also rotated everything by 90 degrees. So instead of being this way for the base, now everything is like east to west, left to right. And I think this is the final way to go. Increases some harmony in the design. Oh God, I'm really overthinking this, I know. God! But you know, when you put so much heart and effort into it, you've got to make it sound better and more important than it really is. No, but seriously, I think this is a more harmonious design. This is probably going to be the final direction. But as you've probably noticed by now, I keep saying that, and then there's a pivot. But I think I pivoted just now, and it was a good pivot. And I really am liking the fact that it's 6 slats with 5 dowels, and that they're brass. This thing rocks, as they say on YouTube. I would never say that in a million years. I'm too old for that kind of thing, but I think it looks really nice. Well, if you're still with me, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you stuck around to the end. I'll be back in a few days, I guess, with some exciting things to show you. Please, if you can, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, so that you can see the epic things that are coming. And thank you once again.